They paid Anthony Hopkins basically to call Mark Wahlberg dude. That's a real thing. Hello YouTube, this is Cover 2 Credits. We are your hosts. I'm Kevin. I'm Justin. And the other night we went to a late showing of Transformers The Last Night. We filmed a review. It looked terrible and didn't sound good, and we've had a little bit of time.
It was bad and we should feel bad.
But we've had a little bit of time to dwell.
Dwelling's what we do.
Whether that's good or bad, we've had time to dwell. So we're going to break this down real quick. We're going to talk about acting and script, and then plot, and then we'll get to spoilers, and we'll do a rating in there too. First of all, I'll say this once because I'm not going to get into a bunch. The movie is beautiful. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Visuals are beautiful. We saw it in 2D, like every other Transformers movie before it, and every one that'll come from it. Beautiful movie. Now, that's the last time I'm going to bring that up. The acting in this movie is something to behold. What I mean by that is, I was astonished that they could do things like get Anthony Hopkins to come to this movie and spout some of the random things he did, or like just have Mark Wahlberg play the same part he kind of always plays. Granted, you know what? No, he's not a great actor. But the thing is, this movie had terrible writing for everyone.
The writing was just bad.
Everyone was bad. Like,
bad.
And some of the parts were so weird. We get the trailers early, one of them specifically with the little girl. And we're like, oh, she's going to play a huge part.
No.
She's in the beginning. She's in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a spoiler. There's a part that takes everybody... That's not... She just doesn't... I don't know why they focused on her.
I don't either.
Anybody that gets added into this movie, it's not that the acting is bad. Is the acting great? No. Is the acting bad? I'm going to say no. I think the writing is so bad, it doesn't matter what the acting was doing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I mean, that's what sucks, but it's like, even like Optimus Prime lines.
Bad.
It was like they just wanted to get as many sound bites from Prime as they could get. There was no... I don't know. It was just...
The whole thing was weird and bad.
The movie was bad enough. Kevin and I left before the after credits scene.
I wanted to leave before the movie ended.
He asked me, can we get out of here? And I said, let's finish this shit show and we'll figure it out from there. If you're a Transformers fan, which I don't know if we can be friends, see the movie because it's pretty to look at.
I would say Transformers.
That's okay. Now, one of the biggest problems I have, and I know a lot of other reviewers have, is this. Every time they make a Transformers movie, what's the coolest part of the Transformers universe?
Transformers transforming?
Or just Transformers overall, correct? Yet every time, Micheal Bay has got to make a human the focus of the movie. Why? Every time. Now, there is going to be a spin-off Bumblebee solo movie. coming soon, coming in the next few years. In this movie, they reference Bumblebee's history. I hope that's where it goes. I hope that's where it goes, because it sounded cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were weird things that let's go to plot. We got through the acting. No, we didn't talk about everybody, but you get the idea. Let's move to plot. This is how I explained it when somebody asked me yesterday. When you're dealing with a plot, let's think of it in terms of straight line. If you create plot A, and the ending for A is B, okay, then the next plot, if there's more than one, it would be C to D. Get me? Mm-hmm. Now, by the time they brought in F, A and B, which was supposed to be super important, had got left in the dust and never referenced again. And I'm like, if that's the case, why bring in so many? That was my big issue. And I think you mentioned the same thing the other day. There were so many plots going on, and some that they made act like it was a huge deal, and then they just went away. Characters, just giant plot holes that they made sure to focus on at one point in time or another. It just was like, why even bring that into the story? Or don't make it as big of a deal. Make it somebody saying something in passing and you hear that, and then that's it. But they were like, we're going to show you this part, and then we're going to make sure we reference that's happening. And then nothing comes from that again. You never see it again. And it just seemed really confusing. He's like, why is that even a thing then if all of this stuff is going on? Your thoughts on the plot, or do you concur?
The main problem with this movie, and there were a lot of problems, but the plot is definitely the main problem. Now, like I said, I try to fancy myself at least a little bit of a writer. Granted, I'm an amateur writer, and I haven't made that much money doing it, but I have made some money, and people generally seem to understand and semi-like my stories. Now, in this movie, I count at least 5 or 6 different subplots going on.
That was why I said A through F.
5 or 6 subplots. You've got 1, Decepticons are randomly coming to Earth, and in order to combat this, the TAF, TEF, TAS?
TAF, I think.
The TAF
is a new government.
Is a new government that's apparently taken over the entire world.
Not government, government agency.
A worldwide government agency that kills Decepticons and Autobots.
Hunts them
on site.
On site.
And because of this...
Using other robots.
And because of this, there's large areas of the world that are just restricted
war
wastelands.
Zones. Yeah.
They're restricted wastelands
yeah.
that nobody can get into or go into.
Yep.
All right? That's a plot. You could have done a movie with that as the main thing, and it would have been cool and interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you've got the main character and his sort of freedom fighter-esque thing
Band
going.
of misfits.
Yes. And like I said, you could have combined those 2 plots and it would have been fine.
Now here though, I will say this, not a spoiler again. First thing he referenced goes away within the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Never to be seen or heard from again.
And like I said, you could have brought in the girl with that and done her whole background story. My family was killed by a Decepticon, and now I'm out trying to save this little weird Transformer bot for some reason, and that could have been a whole thing that was fine and made sense.
Yep.
Alright. That's where the movie starts. You get that for probably 20-25 minutes, and then after this fucking stupid fight in the middle of a church in this abandoned town for no reason that I can even pretend to think of.
The TIE Fighter drones. I don't know how they're not getting sued by Lucasfilm for using drones that look just like Imperial TIE Fighters.
This is going to be fairly spoilery, but
wait a second for one thing. Let's get through more plot for a second, then we'll get to spoilers. Hear me out. We're not even yet to Anthony Hopkins' plot, the British chicks plot, all of what happens when they get underwater plot, finding out where Cybertron is plot, what did they call him? Prime, what was it? Nemesis Prime is plot. Finding out who. Now, I'm up to what, 6? We haven't even gotten to those yet. And that all gets compiled into this 2-hour, two something movie. And you're like, how does anybody know what the hell's going on? Because,
you know
like
what
you
this
said,
movie reminded me of? Matrix Revolutions.
Oh, God.
Because there was so much going on and so much that was never explained, touched upon once or twice, and then completely abandoned.
Would you agree
And then just
that
weird things happening everywhere, and no one knows what the fuck's going on.
if they made a point to do the Cade Yeager and his band of misfits as a plot, and Anthony Hopkins and the storyline behind all that, would have been a cool movie. Just those two.
Yeah, they could have made 2 movies out of this movie, and it would have been... They at least
Awesome.
could have gotten a 6 from me on
Yeah,
those
exactly.
2 movies.
Yeah.
They could have got 2 6s instead of 1, which I'm not going to give you because we're going to save the rating for the end,
Yeah.
because I already gave the rating once. But like I said, this movie could have been 2 average movies, but instead...
It could have probably been more than 2 average movies.
It could have been more than 2 average movies. But
That's
anyway,
a
like I said,
terrifying thought.
like there's just like Stair said, it's like you took, you know, those little like stupid rug making things they have.
The loom,
yeah, like the little like rug looms you have.
Where you're weaving.
Well, like if
everything
each
together?
one of those is a plot, it's like they took like 20 on each side and just went. It just twisted them together.
Yep, and that was it.
Until you had this like just random ball of plot line shit.
And it's like each one was a cool story if they would have given it enough time. It wasn't like there was a bad story.
Yeah.
But for some reason they decided that, well, I think what happened was the hype of this is the last one for Micheal Bay. Well, Bay is like, let's hit everything I got. I'm throwing them all. All the darts hit the wall. Let's do this. And that's exactly what happened. And you're like, we looked at each other a couple different times. We're like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
Like, nope. We'll do that in the spoilers. I thought of a few things after our talk the other night that we didn't even bring up that is just dumb. So let's get to a rating so we can hit the spoiler side. I'm going to give this movie a 5. Only because, the only reason it gets a 5 is the visuals are that good. You see a lot of robots fighting. Okay? There was a reference that was made. That'll be the first spoiler I say. You go ahead now.
I'm going to give this movie a 4. And that's on the low side of 4s.
And realistically, if it wasn't this visually pleasing, it probably would have been less than that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. It could have easily gotten a 3 if I'd have been feeling a little more bitter. But I'm going to give it a 4. Like I said, it's just... They introduced a crap ton of characters and they tried to convince you they were important. And then... You know, and they're doing this stuff and they're killing off some of these characters and they're trying to, like, grip your heart. And it's like, you don't even know these people. They might have said 5 lines through the whole movie. And, like I said, it's just...
Weirdly convoluted.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
a Guy Ritchie movie with all
Spoilers.
the, like, the weird flashing.
Listen,
but
we watched the Guy Ritchie movie and they did King Arthur much better than this.
Well, that's my point, is like, you can pull that off with all the weird side plots, because Guy Ritchie does weird side plots well.
Yeah.
And he pulls them together, and you get all these interesting things going on. But this movie was just like, bad. Just bad. There's no other way to describe it.
Spoilers.
Besides confused and bad.
If you don't want to know spoilers for this movie, stop now. Now,
I don't know why you'd bother.
if you've seen this movie,
Just watch.
please comment on any of these we have to say, because I want to hear what some of you think. I'm starting from the get. One thing I heard right off the bat from a few other reviews I saw, and it makes perfect sense. What was the biggest problem with the last Godzilla movie we had? Do you remember?
I didn't watch it.
You saw it with me. That was one with Bryan Cranston and all that. They killed him.
No.
I think you did. At one
I
point
don't
in time.
think I
Either
did.
way, not enough Godzilla. They waited forever to show Godzilla. Okay? What happens in this movie? 0 Optimus Prime.
He had his own plot,
The-
but he never shows up in the movie.
The key guy. If they're gonna make Bumblebee the key guy, let him be it. But the problem is, they keep Optimus right there, and then he's waiting in the wings, and he disappears twice. It's just like, why? Okay, here's my question, and some of these I'm gonna rapid fire at Kevin and see what he thinks. Why did they make Merlin a drunk? They have Merlin riding through the forest and it's like, I need a drink. Wait a minute. And he stops riding, doesn't he? And you're like, what is going on? And now that explained an interesting point that they give him that staff, but I was so confused as like, why did they make him a drunk idiot and him like spill his guts to the Autobots there as if, you know, hey, everybody thinks I'm a fraud. I need to do one thing right. And I'm like, why is this a thing? Why are they making Merlin seem like an idiot?
Another plot.
Yeah.
That's never explained.
No, it goes away completely. You have like the weird suicidal Arthur before Merlin shows up with the dragon. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're staying. We're all gonna die. This is awesome. Like, what? Okay, now let's get into more of the other stuff. Like,
that battle very historically accurate, by the way.
Yes, the three-headed dragon came out of nowhere and killed all of them.
Even before that, though, like, why do they have like flame steel catapults flying everywhere?
That look like they were throwing flaming mines from like World War II.
Flaming death charges.
You know what I'm talking? That's what they look like. They look like flaming depth charges from like World War I. And you're like,
I'm gonna tell you right now, if the who would they even be fighting? Like the
no, he
King
said
Arthur was a Scottish
warlord.
It
was not the Turks.
Dang it, who was it? The Turks. It would be like the.
They said it. And I can't think of it. They look like Vikings, though.
Well, Vikings would at least make sense historically.
They looked like Vikings, but they made a reference to a specific group. I can't. Kurds?
No.
For the life of me, I can't remember, but it's something like that. There's a specific name. Either way,
it doesn't matter.
Let's move forward to these plot holes.
This is another plot hole.
I had a bunch that I was thinking of. Continue. Let me bounce them. You
like
got one to hit it.
Okay, then they bring the girl in.
Last relative to Merlin.
No, that whole part was stupid. And like I said, she's probably on the screen for like what?
They should have made her the last knight. That would have been cool. That would have made sense with the whole, you're the descendant of Merlin. You're the only one that can take the staff. Nobody else tried. Did you notice that? No one else tried. What if that wasn't a thing and everybody else could touch it and they didn't know?
He picked it up.
They gave her... Who did?
The main character.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
When?
He picked it up out of the grate. And then he started swinging around. He's like, this is
because it was a stick. Yeah, because it looked like a stick. Okay. They gave her this weird, if I touch things, they come to life power. Because I'm Merlin's great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter. Fine. Okay. There's this weird scavenger hunt, national treasure style to get to a World War II
with coded books and messages.
World War II submarine?
Yeah.
That then Anthony Hopkins purchases? What was that deal? They're like, everybody off the boat! Get off the boat now! And the next thing you know, they take the damn thing into the water and find out that Earth isn't a planet. It's Cybertron?
No. Earth is a planet, but it's the planet Unicron.
Oh, Unicron.
Cybertron's
That's right.
enemy.
Unicron.
Okay. Here's my question. Here's second question. You have a spaceship. It's in the middle of a mountain range in the United Kingdom. In 2,000 years, it has magically moved 400 or 500 miles out into the middle of the ocean.
Wait, was that supposed to be the same ship?
Yes.
Wow, I never put that together.
There's no geological sense to any of that.
It also didn't look anything near the same. Like, the ship they were on was like that, like Spire, right? Mm-hmm. They had like giant thrusters is what they looked like they were hiding in when Merlin approached them.
It was the same ship.
Listen, all I know is on the last video, I can't clip it in. I was gonna say I might clip it in because Kevin broke himself talking about why robots that usually...
Okay, no. Yes, this is... Okay. Biggest part that pisses me off in this movie. Why do robots... They don't breathe. They don't need respiration. They don't need to eat. Why the fuck does a robot need a spaceship?
Now wait. The argument you're saying.
They're Transformers.
But wait,
why don't they have a spaceship robot?
Wait.
Whose job it is to be a spaceship?
Hey,
why do they
listen.
have a spaceship?
You're getting weird and weirdly meta when you're talking about robots being inside of other robots. That's just all I'm saying.
Robotception.
Listen,
why the fuck do they need a spaceship?
Because
Why do they need a spaceship designed for humans?
On Earth,
No.
it does make sense on Earth.
No, it doesn't. How does it make sense on Earth?
Because when there is no atmosphere, no gravity, fine, I understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Where Cybertron or in space or whatever, that's fine. But when you're dealing with gravity, and you're dealing with some of those vehicles cannot fly, then having a spaceship is how some of those people have to get around the world. I know it makes no sense, but that makes more sense than just saying, make them all able to fly.
Why can't they all fly?
Because I guess they felt...
Isn't it in Transformers
like,
logic? They can be any machine they want. They just take over a form that's more comfortable to them.
But see,
they can be anything.
That comes and goes.
They're AIs.
That comes and goes because... I say that comes and goes because there's a couple of them that never change. They're always the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. We watch one change in this movie also, the French guy. So it's like, why can't Bumble... Or here you go, Optimus Prime has like boot boosters, can fly when he's not the truck. Why can't everybody else do that?
That's my point. It's fucking crazy illogical.
I know. All I know is Kevin broke himself
a table flip.
And a round table flip. Remember that joke? Cackled for at least 5 minutes during the last video. Where like,
okay,
I thought he was going to fall
thing
out
number
of the truck.
2 in this movie. All right, we throw in a bunch of Transformers we've never heard of. The stupid tank guy, the stupid Cosworth guy.
Oh, tank with robot dementia.
The French guy who magically has a fucking time gun. What the hell is up with that? Why did you just get a time gun?
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, I've got this. And that's a terrible French accent. Shoots a gun that creates a bubble shield like Master Chief, but inside, time slows down.
What the fuck?
And you're like, what?
Convenient plot device. Time gun.
I just thought of this.
Maybe he's an actual Transformer and has a time gun power in the comic somewhere?
I hope so. I really hope so. But he was a Murcielago. He was a freaking badass Lamborghini. Nice car.
At least he's got taste.
I was so confused.
He has a time gun.
I was so confused by a couple other things too. Like, why is it...
Damn.
That's an awesome suit. Why is it that... Okay, the title of this movie is what, Kevin?
The Last Night.
I'm not even gonna spoil it. If you go see this movie, you're going to be angry when you see The Last Night come to fruition. Because you're like, you named the movie this. This has to be an important thing. Was it?
No.
No.
Honestly, none of the movie is really important.
No.
None of the things that happen.
Other than her being a descendant of Merlin, that ended up being important.
Not that important.
Kevin and I talked about this the other night. Got to bring it up. One of the last things we'll say. Cybertron is a bunch of strung together bodies of some landmass that are starting to turn green because they're draining the energy from the Earth. At one point in time, it looks like all of our heroes aren't going to get to do what they do. So a physicist decides to tell NASA and the military that if they shoot a specific branch in landmass with a tactical nuke, it will swing it, knocking loose the area that everybody is on, making that stop the draining of the power. Now, by this time, Cybertron is attached to the planet. It's not like it's in the atmosphere. It's not like it's by the moon, okay? They green light a tactical nuke. Now, I say a tactical nuke. Next thing you see is a squadron of planes unload what easily could be what we thought between 8 and 16 rockets. All hitting and exploding with something that's not even a mile away from everybody who means anything in this movie, right? So, all I'm saying to you is, if in the next movie, because odds are there's going to be a next movie, everybody doesn't die from radiation poisoning, I'm calling BS.
They shot it with 16 nukes, and
The planet would be dead.
how is since when did our fighter missile nukes a thing?
We'll even skip that. Here's my
And
thing.
the Ospreys?
Why? Oh, God. We'll get back to that in a
So
second.
many stupid things happen.
Why? One,
The
how does a
mid-air
nuke-
junk throw at 0 gravity so she could slingshot herself up to the staff
Oh my
again.
God! I looked into you, and you're just like, no. At one point in time, 2 people are falling next to each other. Next thing you know, one grabs the other one and swings and throws her. Not a robot. These are 2 humans. Throws her the other way. How? I was like, they're both falling in gravity. Where? What? But second thing Kevin brought up, they decide to drop ship in Ospreys. Now that's a specific type of helicopter plane hybrid. They can rotate the wings. They're actually kind of cool.
They do vertical takeoff.
Here's the problem. Right before they do all this jump stuff, they say, oh, by the way, this is double the altitude limit for Ospreys. And the guy's like, that's not good. And then they take off, and then Ospreys crash, and everybody's like, what's going on? Crash. You're like, you guys are just a bunch of idiots. It's
The whole
just
thing
a
was-
bunch of idiots.
The whole movie was like that. It's like, let's do this random stupid idea and base the fate of the world off of it. And I'm like, oh, does no one have any brains anymore?
They're like,
what the fuck's
we're
even happening?
calling all Transformers, all Autobots. We're fighting for the sake of everything at this point. Yet, how many times do they cut back to John Turturro, who I like in this series, in Cuba, with multiple Transformers
Just hanging out.
just chilling on the beach?
A lot.
I was like, why is he even in the movie? Why is he in the movie? Why is the little girl in the movie? Why is any
Black dude
number
in the movie.
Yeah. Why is Mark Wahlberg's lackey in the movie? Why
It was all bad.
like, and I know this sounds bad because obviously it's like, well, you're not making a movie. I agree. But all I'm saying is, if someone's in a movie and they could remove their part and it doesn't change the movie,
They should not be there.
why are they there? Especially when there's a gazillion freaking plots. Why? Listen, Anthony Hopkins, good part, maybe bad writing, good acting, terrible script, weirdest end ever.
Don't even get me started on this stupid dramatic death scene that takes place 5 minutes after he gets
After he
shot with
got
a
shot.
missile. Madness.
It bugged the hell out of me. And like, I wanted to like this movie. I'm like, the thing looks beautiful, but oh my God.
It was bad.
So, like I said, if you have any more plot holes, comment down below. Any of these you thought of or disagree with us, tell us. We enjoy getting that feedback, positive or negative. We've taken a few days to think about this movie after we saw it. That's helped me a little. I didn't even think about the Merlin thing. I didn't think about the whole what the last night ends up being and how much of a joke that is. There was so much that just angered me that it just kind of stressed it. So like this video, subscribe, share it if you want to. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I post everything on Facebook at Cover to Credits, everything on Twitter at Cover to Credits. I'm going to start trying to do some daily Facebook stuff, maybe put it up on Twitter also. If I see an interesting story, I'll just do a little one-shot on my phone and upload it. Try to get him to do some of the things too, especially if he's seeing stuff for books, like authors announcing things or a book that's coming out that looks interesting. Just do a one-shot before you read it. And I'm just going to try to have some fun with it. There are more movies coming out. Spider-Man Homecoming soon.
I want to see that a lot.
There's a couple other ones that I'm definitely going to see whether or not Kevin joins me. It's a lot of hit and miss stuff. But I think that's everything. Until next time.
Thanks for staying till after the credits.
By the way, there is an after credit scene after this movie. We didn't stay because that's how bad it was. lead supposedly. Okay, they kept saying last night. This is the last one. The damn after credit scene leads into a sequel.
Well, right before it ends, they lead to the sequel. There's something hidden within the bowels of the earth.
I know, and I'm like, this is supposedly the last one. What are you doing? I don't understand.
Well,
Goodbye.
it's the last one that he's directing.
Thank God.